Hello friends, it's Pastor Vern from St. Mark's Lutheran Church with another devotion this week. This week I'm reading about the parable of the sower, which talks about at the beginning Jesus standing by the sea. And while I'm not standing behind the sea or at the sea, Dave Finger was nice enough to let me come and stand out here on his dock at the lake. So thank you, Dave, for letting me come out here today. Here, the story of the parable of the sower. Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea. Such a great crowd gathered around him that he got into a boat, not on a dock, and he sat there, while the whole crowd stood and listened to him from the beach. And Jesus told them many things in parables, saying,
Listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some of the seeds fell on the path, and the birds came and swallowed them up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up quickly since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose and they were scorched, they withered away, since they had no roots. Other seeds fell among thorns, like the prickly things on this vine here, and as the thorns grew up, they choked the seeds.
Other seed fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. And Jesus said, Let anyone with ears listen. A little bit later, after Jesus told this parable of the sower, Jesus reflected on the parable, and he said, Blessed are the eyes of you, for you see, and your ears, for they hear. Truly I tell you, Jesus said, many prophets will hear and will not understand. Many prophets will want to see what you see, but they will not see it. And they will want to hear, but they did not hear it. So blessed are you who hear, who see, and who listen. So happy spring, friends. Welcome to one of my favorite times of the year. Last week, as I read Pastor Dave's devotion talking about the serviceberry bush that was given to him by St. Mark's, celebrating the 25th anniversary of his ordination, it made me think about, at that time, an upcoming project that Mandy and I had for that weekend at our house. Part of that is that bed that you see planted around that tree, and there's another bed that you can't see right behind me, even lower than the camera angle. This weekend we did some landscaping at our house here. I love springtime. I love springtime because it's awesome to see just how wonderful God's creation is and the awesome things, the awesome life that can come about from very simple elements: dirt, water, seeds, plants that start to flower, like the tulips sitting over here beside our front door. Sorry you can't see those either. Or the azaleas right here behind me that soon will spring up and flower. Or the tulips that will soon pop up out of that round bed that you can see at the base of that tree. Jesus talks about in the parable of the sower today about seed that falls in different places. And I think something that Jesus is getting at in that devotion, or in that parable, and what I'm getting at in this devotion today, is how we're called as a community, called as the church, to reflect on how are we revealing the love of Jesus? How are we reflecting the faith that Jesus teaches about in this parable in the world around us? I want to affirm to you that there is many good things, many good ministries going on at St. Mark's, from Shelby and the folks in hands-on putting together Easter baskets to send to our friends at Living Waters in Cherokee, to our youth who are going to be working up a community garden this summer, especially our Streams youth, to another project involving plants that our Rivers and Seas youth are going to be doing as a surprise for you all for Easter. So consider that a bit of a teaser for Easter this year. To the ministry of our preschool, forming the lives of young people, our worship, the many outreaches that we have going on. I could talk for forever about the different ministries of St. Mark's. Folks, we find ourselves at St. Mark's in the midst of some good soil. Life is springing up. Ministry is springing up. There are new flowers, new plants of ministry coming into bloom every week. And that's something to be excited about. So as you hear this devotion today, I invite you to think about the ministry going on around you at St. Mark's, the ministry that you're involved in beyond St. Mark's, how you volunteer and give of yourself in your home and in your community, in your neighborhood. I invite you to think about what kind of seed would you consider yourself, and how can you continue to take root in the promise and the good news of God's love, and to grow 100, 60, 30-fold, so that others may hear and see that love and that new life reflected in you. I want to invite you, if you're watching this devotion for the first time, come out and see what we're about at St. Mark's. If you're someone who likes planting or likes gardening, I've already mentioned, we've got some stuff coming up that we'd love to have your help in. Or maybe you're looking for a place simply to come and pray and to worship. You can join us at 8:30 or 10:30 any Sunday morning, and we have faith formation between those two times at 9:30, what we call Connect. We would love to have you with us anytime. And I hope that this week, as spring continues to break upon us and as we anticipate the wonder of Easter, that your days are filled with life, new life, like plants emerging, that your days are filled with hope, and that your days are filled with love, knowing that God loves you. Friends, the peace of Christ be with you always.